A great conversation. So let's go ahead and jump in. Judy, what I'd like to do is start with you first, and
Sure.
let's kind of lay the groundwork by talking about when we say the words climate and culture, what do we mean? Because what I found is you can go to different states or different districts and we can use the same word like PLC, and we mean really different things. And I think we tend to use those words kind of interchangeably. So can you get us started with the definition of when we say them? What do you think?
Sure, I think that's a great question, and I think that many people see these as educational buzzwords, right? Buzzwords that administrators use and nobody else uses, which couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, they're very foundational words, and I'll kick it off with something that I experienced just today. I walked into the headquarters at Quaver Ed, and in the lobby there is a television that celebrates the birthdays of their employees, that celebrates the work anniversaries of the people who work here. To that, for me, is climate. That screams climate and culture. So what do we mean? First, climate. This is the way students perceive how they think and feel what they hear in the building, the things that happen to them every day that helps them to build relationships and helps them to believe this is a place I belong, right? And that's true of teachers, it's true of administrators, and climate exists for an organization no matter what you do. The higher organization of the people who are above you, it happens in school buildings, and every teacher knows that climate is very significant in their classrooms, right? Then we have culture, which for a physical education teacher, we call that the long game, right? The sustained work we do around who we want to define ourselves as being. What are our beliefs? And climate and culture, it looks different in New Jersey in a particular district than it might look in Texas, than it might look in New Mexico. And knowing who you are and defining who you are and bringing people along on that mission is foundational, in fact, the backbone to what goes on in a school.
I appreciate that. Thanks for bringing clarity there. We're going to keep layering on and it's going to fall by the wayside. So thank you for that. Judy, I'd like to get kind of your thoughts here. What would you like to add to the conversation about what happens when we don't get these pieces right in our schools?
Right. I think what's interesting is when climate and culture are going right, no one sees a thing. But when it goes wrong, everybody knows.
That's a great point.
Everybody knows. And why does it happen? It happens because messaging and mission aren't communicated well or at all. It means that there's no synergy in and between departments or between teachers. It starts to build this negative culture of mistrust. Then comes the conflict. And then comes the teacher apathy. So when we get it wrong, it's disastrous, right? Because although we're all trying to move in the same direction on behalf of kids, climate and culture is the backbone. And so it's what makes a foundational piece around an educational institution being on its legs. So I think that we really have to pay attention when things go wrong and all be part of the stakeholders in the solution to build on that positivity and get it back again.
And it kind of takes me back, looking ahead to the next school year. So we're that time of year when we're looking ahead. We've probably all got our new, fresh teacher planners out, ready to start penciling things in. There are a lot of things swirling around in the world around us that can distract us from what we've, I think, established is incredibly important work, right? So we have everything from school safety, we've got political polarization, we still have the after effects of the pandemic, we've got kids who are really struggling with that social and emotional learning piece. So my question for you is, what do you do to keep this top of mind for you or for us, even with all of that kind of swirling around in the background?
Yeah, I come back to young people being the focus and priority of what we're doing, right? First and foremost, remembering that not every child is having the same experience in our classrooms, right? And making sure we see and are thoughtful and are mindful about who they are. So if a teacher goes back into the classroom to start the school year and they're thinking about their content, that's not the thing to really be thinking about. I am sure that we have professionally certified content experts that know more than anybody else knows about their content. That's not the problem, right? It's about being mindful on your prep to think about the children in front of you, not what it is you're teaching them. Because if you don't build that bridge to relationships, it won't matter what you say, right? And so if we keep young people at the heart of this entire piece, and speaking now from the lens of a health and physical educator, because student well-being is our work, I think about whether or not the children in our care feel not only physically safe, but emotionally and socially safe in our spaces. And when they can say they successfully have done that, then it's time for math and literacy and language arts. And look, I understand the supervisors and principals that may be listening today are thinking about attendance and behavior and test scores. It'll come. I promise. The outcomes will come if our focus is in the right place and our focus is with kids at the heart of everything we do.
And what I've taken away from a lot of what you said today, too, is that this can't be a surface level fix, right? And I'm going to say, as a teacher, always love a good Jeans Day pass, right? But what we're talking about goes much deeper than that, right?